Welcome back, Duelists, to the King's Court. Today we have a special video. If you saw our community post tab, or community post, you saw that I went 5th place in our locals this past weekend for Yu-Gi-Oh! Or OTS. I usually don't often play Yu-Gi-Oh! As much, at least in tournament-wise, just because I have some self-confidence issues, usually when it comes to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! We're doing the same thing with Digimon sometimes, or not as much, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I feel is more difficult sometimes, I decided to play this week. And the last time I played Cyber Dragons. Did mediocre, but that's to say la vie. So to say, this time I decided to play Sky Striker, which also helps because we got announced new support for it. If you haven't seen that already, look it up. If not, I'll probably make a video on it later this week. If not, I'll have some gameplay. But before we get too far into it, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you know when we upload consistently. Also, if you haven't already, check our social medias. Link will be down below in the description box. We're on the road to 1K, and you know what that means. If we make it by the end of summer, or excuse me, by the beginning of summer, Isaac has to open a very special gift from all the other channel members. So if you want to see him do that, please join us right now. I'll be waiting. Tap, 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 tap. You've done it already? Okay, good. So yeah, this is the first time that I played Sky Striker my locals. I've usually been testing it a lot more and decided to play it this weekend, or past weekend. Usually I'll sit back and I'll be testing other games, but most of our friends were off playing in the Digimon regionals down in Pasadena, so this was a good way to kind of play something else. It was 5 rounds of 20 people, or about 20 people, and we got 5th. We went X2. So, yeah, probably the most Mickey Mouse X2 I've gone just because of how it was. So, round 1 was a bye, so we were already XO. Round 2 was against, I remember Isaac playing Yugioh, and he said, I'll go first against Sky Striker. Game 1 didn't go great. Game 2, I couldn't break his board, and Game 3, I won in time because he took a while, and then I just went, Hayate swing for 1500 in battle phase when time was called, so yeah. Round 3 was against Fiendsmith Ryziel. And it was going okay. But unfortunately we went we thought he was doing okay. But apparently he had not seen the pieces, and then all he had to do was start summoning his Ryziel monsters, and it was GG from there because he built too much advantage. And then in game 2, I never saw pieces, or I saw pieces to play something, but didn't matter. Although I did resolve 3 evenly matches in one game. As weird as that sounds. I know that sounds weird, but that's what happened. And then round 4 was against the Odeon deck, which was pretty interesting. A great game. If you guys don't know, I like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! So I like the kind of the grind games. That's kind of what it was. I won't explain how it went. Well, you can probably guess. But you'll see, because we have a gameplay of it. It's a really good game, and I enjoyed it. And then round 5 was my opponent dropped, or my opponent gave me the win, so yeah, got 5th place. Again, Mickey Mouse, but whatever, I'll take it. We take those. So yeah, we play Sky Striker. So let's go ahead and go into deck profile. I'll tell you my ratios, and then, other cards you could be playing instead, but this is what I played. For the monsters, which is not going to be surprising, it is, first off, 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Ray. Pretty much one of your few monsters you play. You contribute her quick effect to tag into a Sky Striker Ace monster in the extra deck. And then once per turn, and then while she's in the graveyard, a Sky Striker leaves the field by your opponent's card. You can bring her out. Yeah. Ray is really good. Ray basically allows you to always get a monster on the field, and you're going to always want to get her in the grave just because as long as your X-Fighters leave the field by your opponent, you're able to bring her out. And being able to quick effect go into another one allows you to kind of pivot. Like if they try to swing over one, you can tag her out into Kagari to add back a card, and then, yeah, it's pretty good. I really can't say much about Raid because she's just good. Like, she's very good. I would love the alternate art if I could get it, but I didn't get it in time. And with Skywalker's getting support, she's probably on the rise up. Not rise yell. And so she's pretty good, like I said. She's definitely a 3 of. If you aren't running 3, I don't know what to tell you. You should be running 3 Ray. 1 copy of Rose. If a Sky Striker monster is special summoned, except her, you can special summon her from your hand. And then if your opponent's monster, any extra monster don't destroy by battle, or leaves the field because of your card effect while this card is in the graveyard, special summon her. And then you can negate the effect of one face on monster your opponent controls. I've never had this come up. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, you can use it. But I legitimately have never had it come up. One of the ways I've used her is basically, if you open up double, like Ray and her, you can go Ray, go into Kagari, bring her out. Kagari will add back a card. Then you go into SP Little Knight that way. And you trigger the effects for the Little Knight, and then you have it set up for cards like that way. Like, honestly, that's what I've done with her. So the effective negation is pretty good. I need to kind of keep track of that more often, because I can honestly say right now, I really haven't used it, but it's fine. So, 4 Skyscraper Ace monsters, and I'll say this right now, guys, that's all the monsters you play in the main deck. Only 4. Weird, right? But that's how Skyscrapers play, which means the rest of this deck is going to be 1 color. So start with the first 3 cards, which is 3 copies of Skyscraper Mobilize Engage. Yes, I only have 1 all the alternate art. Don't remind me, I'm not happy I only have 1 of it. So what does this card do? Well, if you control no monsters in the main monster zone, that is going to be the crux of the deck, is that you need to control no monsters in the main monster zone, which is fine. You try to go only to your link monsters a lot of the time, and you have ways to kind of pivot main monster zone out with certain effects. So, anyway. Excuse me. So anyway, if you have no monsters, you can activate this card, search for 1 Skyscraper card except for itself, add it to your hand, and if you have 3 or more spells in grave, draw 1. I forget if that's after this card leaves the field. So, like, if you activate it and goes to grave, you can draw. But anyway, so Pot of Greed, essentially. And activating more than 1 on a turn, pretty nutty since it's not the once per turn. Three copies of Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. As a quick play card, you can activate it. Same thing, no monster zone. That's going to be kind of the common theme for most of the cards, is there's no main monster zone. So I'm not going to mention that anytime from now on. Target 1 monster your opponent controls. We target 1 face effect monster. Negate its effects, and if you have 3 or more spells engraved, you can take control of it. Helps kind of lock down people who need to do stuff. Against Blue Eyes, this will take away their barrel, excuse me. So that way, you take out the monster that they would go into the link monster with, and unless you have a way to kind of extend the play afterwards, you're fine. Like, if you have to go first against Blue Eyes, that's what you would do. This is, you can play 1 or 2, you can play 2 or 3. I'm playing 3 of Linkage. When you activate this card, you can send 1 card you control. You have to send 1 other card you control. You can't send itself. And for Resurrection, you can summon monsters except Sky Striker Ace monsters. But you can then summon a Sky Striker from the extra deck. And if you have a light and a dark monster, at least 1 each, that monster gains 1,000 attack for the rest of the turn, for the entirety of its field. And Coco this allows you to tag out, like if they try to go Kagari, you go Kagari and they try to Widowing, they try to effect failure, impermanent or whatever. Just hit them with this, and yeah, you kind of wasted 1 card while they wasted 1 more than you did. It's pretty good. Plus help with the OTK, which you kind of want to do. Then for the 2 copies of Shark Cannon, being able to hit. So this lets you banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard, and if you have 3 more spells, you can special summon it. Doing this will allow you to basically take advantage, or take pieces of your opponent needs in the graveyard, like if they need a Blue Eyes in the grave for Blue Eyes, or like Barrel. This can help you get rid of Feastsmith Engraver from the grave. This kind of hits a lot of cards, so you kind of like to have this card in the back to use it. Plus, you can use it to kind of just, you know, if your opponent tries to activate a monster freaking graveyard, you can special summon this to your field, and then, like, they don't have it anymore. It's fine. It's kind of like called by without it being called by. And now we have some one-ofs. One copy of Hornet Drones. This will get you into Kagari easily. It gets you into a lot of your scatter cards. And thanks to the new effect, this will get you so much advantage with the new cards you get revealed. Put summon a token, and if you have 3 more spells, that token has 1500 attack and defense. Pretty good. One copy of Afterburner. Pop a monster, and if you have 3 more spells, pop a face down. Pop a spell and trap. One copy of Jamming Waves. This came up against Odeon. Pop a spell or trap. 3 or more cards. 3 more spells. Pop a monster. One Hercules base. I know a lot of people don't run this anymore. I like it. So while you activate this card, as long as you can't, your opponent cannot take your opponent directly or your monster, but you could put it on a scatter card. It can attack twice, and if it destroys the monster in battle, you draw a card. That's not a once per turn. So if you destroy 2 monsters, you draw 1. And then when the card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target up to 3 scatter cards in your grave, except itself. Shuffle them into the deck. This can basically help you recycle because you always want to put back your Kagaris and everything. Even shuffle back like spells that you're kind of missing. But you really do to shuffle back your Sky Striker Ace monsters because at one point if you run out enough of those, like you don't have enough pieces, and that kind of sucks. Yeah, what the hell was that? One copy of Multi-Roll, probably one of the best cards in the deck. I might up it to 2 and take out maybe Jamming Waves or Hercules base. So you can activate this card, target a card in your field, send it to the graveyard, and then for the rest of the turn, your opponent can activate cards in response to your spell cards. That is nutty because it does not say your Sky Striker spells; it just says your spells. And then at the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spell cards equal to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn while this card was on the field, but banish it when they leave the field. So, like, say if you activate this effect and they say they Cyclone it, you would still get the effect they can't respond. But, so now you get to lock down 3 more spells, which you always do one of with different names, so. As we play a ton of one-ofs, because we want to make sure we have pieces to play it for. Again, I would consider probably putting this up. One copy Ego Booster. Makes one of your Sky Striker monsters unaffected by card effects, and 3 more spells have Guardians by battle. Combined with kinda, this kind of makes it where your opponent kind of has to out cards, and this just lets you so your opponent can't pop you. It's really good. Excuse me. That's all the Sky Striker cards. It's pretty much a good portion of the deck, and now we get on to everything else. Starting with board breakers, you play 2 copies of Lightning Storm. Controlling no face-up cards, pop either back row or all Attachment monsters. 2 copies of Raigeki, pop all monsters, and 1 copy of Harpy Feather Duster. If you are playing 5 cards, you basically wipe our opponent's board. And with the amount of drawing you do, you're going to see them. And so that's kind of how this deck goes, is that you want to see your board breakers and all your advantage. You let your opponent go first, and then you just wipe their board. Two copies of Cyclone. This is to get rid of field spells, pick effect like Malice and Underground, which I did play against Malice. This is also to get rid of cards like any kind of card that, you know, also has a secondary effect in the graveyard. Like some of the Odeon cards, you can reset them. Also playing this against like Eldritch would be kind of funny, but you play this mostly because it's a quick effect. And it allows you to do stuff. I would play this against... Well, I have used this against John Over Isaac to banish their increase because it is a trap card, so you can use it. 1 Rhoda to search Ray or Rose, but you're going to search Ray usually. If you don't know what Rhoda does, how long have you been playing Yugioh for? 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. You don't really care about the life points you're going to get through anyway. You just want to see more cards. Same with 2 copies of Desires. You could play 3. I like 2. You're gonna draw 10 cards. You're gonna draw 2 cards. The odds of you hitting another one is not that high. It can happen, but that's why. Plus, you're gonna see enough cards anyway. Three copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. Broken ass spell card. If you don't know what it does, your opponent activates a monster effect during your turn. Your main phase. You can choose a normal spell and set it. And you said you can't enter this turn. But if you have a monster on the field, if they have a monster on the field, you can then activate that. You can add that card to your hand. So against like Malice, because they like to buy steal you during your turn, this can add it back. And if you're playing against anything going turn 2, they have any response to your card, you just activate this and then you add cards. This helps you add to your get you different spells you can get, your engage. You can get your power spells like your lightning storms, anything you really need, and it helps out a lot. Or you can get one of your 3 copies of the Triple Tactics Talents. You want to activate the monster effect during your main phase. You can either draw 2, look at your opponent's hand, shuffle a card back to the deck, or take control of opponent's monster until the end phase, I believe. I can read. Yes. It's no targeting. This is really good, and you can cut it down for a 3rd copy of another card we're about to say right now, but if you don't want to, this still lets you add a lot of cards, so I like it. Because you can pop it for other cards. 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet. This is just another board breaker. You can discard Ray, discard cards that you need, and it allows you to tell your opponent no. Because you activate this card, you send this card to the graveyard. You send cards to the hand to the graveyard or field, and target your opponent's monsters up to the number of cards you sent to the grave. And then those monsters' attacks are cut in half, and their effects are negated. If you don't know how to play around droplets, is if they change their monsters by the time this card goes to resolve, if they have less than you targeted or discarded, it fizzles entirely. So just keep that in mind. And finally, 1 Call by the Grave, because we still like to have, when we do have to go first, having this to stop your opponent from saying, no Ash, no Mole Charmy, and no Droll kind of helps out, but you don't really see it. I wouldn't see more than 1, but it's fine. You could play Crossout Designator, but didn't have it, so I wasn't playing it this weekend. So yeah, that's the deck, guys, for Sky Striker. That's 43 cards, so that's 39 spells to 4 monsters. I guess we'll do a side deck first. This guy's Striker token, because we have the official ones, why not use it? Since I played 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. This is from Malice. You send it to the graveyard from either your hand or field, and they can't banish for the rest of the turn. Never played Malice, so I never saw it, so there was really no point to cite it in. Three copies of Nibiru, the Primal Being. So I think I could have summoned this against Yugioh, and it would have been fine. But I didn't bring it against Yugioh. Yugioh Fiendsmith I could have, but I do not believe I had it during that time. I don't think I drew it against my Yugioh Fiendsmith matchup. And against Odeon, I don't think it was enough either. I know they cited it against me. But it didn't work out, because I didn't summon that much. But yeah, if you know what Nib does, 5 times summons, tribute, big token, big rock. Our 3rd copy of Droplets. Sorry, nose lifted up. If I chose to go down to 2, go down to 2 talents and then the 3rd one of this, then this would be a 3rd copy of Heatwave. So why am I playing Heatwave? This is if we're going first. So what this does, if you don't know what the card does, it's an old card. But you activate it at the beginning of your main phase. And then need to pick a normal spell summon monsters, effect monsters until your next draw phase. So if you're playing anything that requires your opponent to have starters, you can just play this down, set cards, and they can't normal summon effect monsters. Oh, if you're playing Blue Eyes and somehow they have the card list and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, well, oh shit, there you go. You gotta get there, Chief. You know, you got me. But I guess most cards this helps out. You could be you could be that guy, and go summon the token because the token is not an effect monster, and it's like okay, like I have the token for Sky Striker, but then you just can't go summon Kagari, which is like sad, but whatever. 3D barrier. This is for heroes, Ryziel, approach everything that summons from extra deck that isn't Link monsters. And I cited that in against Ryziel, didn't see it. And I cited against Isaac and didn't see it, so kind of sucks. And the last 3 cards of our side deck are 3 copies of Evenly Matched. If you know what this card does, basically, you go battle phase, end of battle phase. If you have no cards in your field, you can have this in the hand. But end of battle phase, if your one has more cards than you do, you activate this. They banish everything they have face down until they have equal number, which is pretty good. This is a side deck, guys. And now for the extra deck. Our cool field setter. Had to show it off a little bit. 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Kagari. On summon, she will let you add back a Sky Striker spell from your graveyard. All these Sky Striker Ace monsters have the effect that you can only summon each of them once per turn, so you have to know how to loop faces for that. And then she gains 100 attack for each spell in the grave. She's probably your best going first one, just because or your first one you go into. Sorry, my nose is a little stiffed up. 3 copies of Sky Striker Ace Shizuku. So she debuffs your entire opponent's field by 100 for each spawn trap, by 100 attack and defense, for each spell in your graveyard, and then when she is summoned from the extra deck, at the end of the turn, you search for a Sky Striker's card that has a different name than one in your graveyard. So you're always checking your graveyard, and you're using like you can use multi-roll to return, like say you have multi-roll and you have engage in grave. If you want to search engage, you activate multi-roll first, put engage back, and then she can't search engage because it's not in the graveyard when she searches. 2 Hayate. She can attack directly, and if she inflicts damage, after damage calculation, she will send a Sky Striker card to the grave that sends Ray. You search Ray, or you send any spell, and then you go into Kagari. So you can go this, send engage, and then add a Kagari. Spell summon Kagari. Add back engage. That's the play now. The new play will be once we get the newest link. One kinda make a monster unable to attack, and then you gain 100 life points for each Sky Striker spell you activate in time. This is probably great. Goated. And I will probably put this right now. I'll add this in. Yes, in the Odeon matchup, this would help me secure game because I lost in time. I'll put that right now. I lost in time. But I'll tell you exactly how when we get to the gameplay. 1 Zeke. It's fine. So you get to target on summon. You can target a card on the field. You target a monster, banish it to your opponent's next end phase, and then you can tribute a card to gain 1,000 attack points. Your card is 2, but you can then tag out for another Link monster. So it's kind of what you draw into. If I had Azalea, I would play it, but I don't have Azalea. So we are playing some filler. 1 SP Little Knight. You know what SP does. SP is too good. Being able to banish a card on summon and then banish 2 cards, pretty funny. 1 IP. IP is really good. Not gonna front, this would either be the Azalea or this would be a Typhon. 1 to heart, because we can make it. Same with Hina. Hita. Hita. Oh, Peter. I'm dumb. If you know the Charmers do, they just let you put someone back a bonus monster of the same element, and then you just go and do whatever. And then this would be access code. I don't have access code, so it's more playing 1 Nightmare Unicorn. And it didn't come up, but granted, I'll tell you right now, Skystriker, your trick really doesn't come up a whole lot except for Skystriker cards. Woo! So yeah, guys, that was Skystrikers. It's kind of straightforward how you play the deck, but you do what you want to do, and that's why I like it. It did pretty well. Like I said, it got me 5th place. If I had won against my Odeon matchup, I think I would either got 3rd or 2nd. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not sure how the placing would have gone. But anyway, so yeah, we got 5th place with Skystriker out of 20 people. So it's pretty good placing, honestly. And I'm proud of how I did. We'll definitely be giving an updated one when we get the new support. But until then, guys, I'm Michael with the Golden State Kings. Hopefully glad you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you all next video. Later.